Tesla Daily's Rob Maurer is confronting some bearish arguments, and the outcome is interesting. I am a fan of both Rob and Troy, so let's see what has just happened. It all started right here. Troy, who, by the way, has some of the most reliable estimates for deliveries and production of Tesla vehicles, who, by the way, does not own any Tesla stock, which is interesting. Rob, though, is long Tesla stock, just like I am. I don't know how much Rob is worth, or whether he is all in into Tesla stock like I am in my stock portfolio. But we do know that Rob is extremely bullish, within reason, though. So Troy said Tesla waited until the earnings call was over to drop the prices in China. They have lost about 10,000 orders that are not recoverable because of this 23 days delay. It wasn't worth it. I'm going to dig deeper into this. I personally respectfully disagree with Troy, and I'll explain why in a moment. Tesla's production capacity in China now far exceeds new orders. Yes, they will have lots of orders in 69 days from October 24th to 31st of December. But if they had dropped prices on October 1st, they would have the same number of orders in the first 69 days, plus more orders in the next 23 days. 10,000 is obviously my estimate. There are 69 days left until the end of the quarter instead of 92 days compared to a price drop on October 1st. Also, we know they waited, but we don't know the reason. I think it was because of the earnings call. Of course, that's my opinion. So Troy wishes that Tesla would have dropped the price of the vehicles sooner, and now he thinks that Q4 will finish with 70,000 to 95,000 units in inventory, which is quite a high number. They could have delivered 10,000 more if they were not so focused on the earnings call. And this is where it all started. Please stop presenting your opinions, analysis as fact. Drama going on here. Even the polite Rob, I think when it comes to Tesla stock YouTubers, Rob is one of the most polite ones for sure. So, but I think this was fairly polite. It was direct, but I think it was polite. So I'm not so sure if, the ban or blocking of Rob by Troy was called for. Of course, I understand it, but, drama. Interesting. So let's see what else can we dig into here. And don't worry, there's a little bit more drama going on. But let's finish up with this first. So Troy stated that he does not own any Tesla stock and that he does not trade Tesla stock. So, of course, Troy's assumptions would require unsold cars, which Troy said, correct, Tesla finished Q3 with 37,000 units in inventory, in other words, unsold cars. If they had enough orders in China, Q3 deliveries would have been 22,000 more, but they run out of buyers on the 16th day of September. They came up with the insurance discount, but it was not enough, so they started exports early. They sold all the cars they could make. Another 10,000 orders couldn't be filled anyway. Troy saying no, Tesla China production now far exceeds orders. They have run out of orders since September 16th. They came up with the insurance discount, and now they entered Q3 with a huge backlog, but they entered Q4 with none. So this is the part there I would push back very respectfully. What do you mean by not recoverable, Troy? Q4 deliveries will be 10,000 units less than they would have been had they dropped the prices on October 1st. So this has nothing to do with production, and also this assumes that the decrease in the price that just happened in China, that will not be enough to sell all of the cars to the Chinese market, which that remains to be seen. This is speculation zone. Troy can make an assumption. All of us can make an assumption. This is just guessing right now. And all of us, remember, this is just short-term noise. It's fun to consider and look at, but long-term, really, how much of a difference does this make? Zero. Not at all, in my deep conviction, you know, for if we are looking at the next 10 years or so. But let's dig a little bit deeper still. Why would they lose 10,000 orders if they have been shipping more cars abroad and now getting a huge number of orders? If they had dropped prices on October 1st, Troy says, they would have a backlog now which can be delivered in December instead of no backlog. And I would just like to go ahead and point out the obvious here, the not recoverable orders have just crashed Tesla's order site. You know, I always like to assume that I have a little brain and everyone else has a big brain, but this one is interesting. Point to consider. And this is where we would start to differ in our opinions. My opinion versus Troy, this is where we would be a little bit different. So do you think it's possible they were just clearing out the backlog before dropping the prices? If they dropped the price while people were waiting to take delivery, they would have had to lower the price for those in the backlog as well. Troy replying, no. So I believe Tesla did it to clear out the backlog because, hey, look, if you got 2 months of orders that you will need to take 2 months to deliver, and they ordered at those higher prices, and now you cut prices for new orders, you also have to cut prices for the backlog orders as well. Otherwise, people will just cancel the order and place a new one. Even if they, let's say, could not get their deposits back, he would still do it because that makes sense. No rational person would keep the high price, right? So we'll keep digging further. Why not? I do think that the most plausible explanation is that they are just clearing the old orders at the high price so that they don't need to lose all this money that our customers are happy to pay already. And Troy says here, we delivered only 6,000 units between the 1st to 23rd of October. It wasn't worth losing that time. So what? They didn't stop production. Production to us Tesla stock investors, retail Tesla stock investors, is all that matters. Why does it matter if those cars are delivered here or there? It's irrelevant as long as they produce the car and deliver it. Troy saying here, we don't have enough orders in Q4, 23 days with potentially high orders were lost. So if you look at it from a Wall Street person point of view, which I fully respect and understand, you are looking at deliveries. You are not looking at production. You will be looking at profits. Production does not show profits on the bottom line. It doesn't show up in financial statements. Deliveries do. But we know every single car that Tesla will make, as far as we can see into the future, that's basically almost a direct quote from Elon Musk, Tesla will sell. And if you believe that, then what is the point? If you are a long-term Tesla stock investor, worrying about short-term implications of the stock, because we will have a few less deliveries for this or that quarter, which is gonna be carried over to the next quarter, and those cars will be delivered and sold to whichever place in the world has demand. In the US, we still do not have the long-range all-wheel drive model. This one is still just going to be available in 2023. If, let's assume demand in China completely collapses, what would be so impossible about taking the car from China and delivering it to some other place in the world where there is demand? I see no issue with that. Of course, shipping is going to be a little bit more, but that's just a short-term thing. If I head over to Australia and I look at delivery times, what is going on with these delivery times still? Tell me. What is going on? Obviously, there's no demand, right? February to May, even for the performance model. I head over to New Zealand and guess what I see? February to May for rear-wheel drive, for all-wheel drive long range, same thing. And for performance, same thing. I head over to Singapore and there is the long range all-wheel drive option. Now, I have been to Singapore and it's not exactly a huge place. It's basically just a city. So that could explain why there's no long range, but still, I would want a long range. Why not give a long range, even if you don't sell many still? Why not give people that choice? Let's head over to Korea. I already translated the page with Google Translate. And there is the long range. South Korea is definitely not as small as Singapore, so you would certainly want this option as well, if indeed you had a demand issue. Let's go to Japan, and what do we see? Now for the rear-wheel drive Model 3, November to December. All right, that's not too long. How about dual motor, all-wheel drive? All right, February to March. That's quite a long time. How about the performance model, which Tesla would certainly want to sell every single one because of the margins? Ooh, the margins are indeed sexy. February to March next year. How about the Taipei region? I've been to Taipei many times. I spent quite some time over there. Where's the long range? There are quite a few places to go. You definitely don't want just a short-range vehicle. You would definitely also want to sell the long-range vehicle as well. You can't even buy it here. Let's take a look at mainland China. You'll see rear-wheel drive Model 3, of course, 4 to 8 weeks. And now dual motor all-wheel drive high-performance model is also 4 to 8 weeks. I just reloaded the page so that it stays in Chinese so that you can see that this is indeed the performance model. The acceleration is 3.3 seconds. Then I was using Google Translate. It messed this up, so it looked like this was not the performance model. One obvious thing that I would like to point out, there is the long-range all-wheel drive model here. Now, when we look at Model Y, we do have the three options: the standard, all-wheel drive, long range, and then the performance, as we can see here. And performance is 4 to 8 weeks now, all-wheel drive, long range, 4 to 8 weeks, and then the standard range, rear-wheel drive, is 1 to 4 weeks. Whatever fluctuations we have short-term in terms of deliveries, that does not matter long-term at all. The cars that will not be delivered, if they are not delivered in Q4, and if inventory goes up, those cars don't just disappear. They will still get delivered because we know Tesla will sell every single car it will make as far into the future as we can see. These are the 48 reasons why I only own Tesla stock in my stock portfolio. My name is Matt Postius, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.